Good afternoon guys, I'm Chris and welcome back to another episode of Rift Amps. Finally, my chassis have arrived. So we've got the 5 blank chassis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've got 2 of the pre-punched ones that we use for the Plexi 18s. And do I use these for anything else? No, they're slightly different to the JTM ones. Anyway, so as you know, these are made from, what is it? Is it 2mm alley? Yeah, 2mm thick alley, which means they're nice and lightweight, which helps because nobody wants a heavy amplifier. But they do, because we obviously use big transformers, and often in our cabinet design, we have the chassis hanging from the ceiling rather than sitting on the floor. We do need to strengthen them up. Now, there's lots of different ways you can do that. You can make little brackets that go in the corner and then use rivets. But the problem with rivets is they can actually rattle. And when you've got a rattly amplifier, it's just the worst thing. And of course, you couldn't sell an amplifier brand new that has a fundamental rattle. So we don't do that. What we do is we use a local firm who specialise in welding aluminium, and they just put a nice bead of aluminium, square all the corners up and strengthen those up, and that way the chassis are then much stronger but remain super lightweight. So I'm going to run these up to the welders now, leave them with them, usually turn around for them, it's a couple of days. If they're busy. So, and then once these come back, I can start marking these. I know I said 4 were going to be Ainsleys and 1 was going to be a JTM, but in fact all 5 are going to be Ainsleys. Got a Black Hawk here that's we've already had done, and then we've got the 2 Plexis. One's a custom Plexi build, the other's a standard one. And then yeah, so that's that. So let's go. So here we are then, off to the welders to get those chassis welded up. This is something I do, I don't know, every couple of months or so. When we get an order of chassis in, we run them up there. Steve and his team weld them up for us, and then when they get back, we can get them marked up, drilled, punched, and all that sort of thing. So we do most of the metalwork in-house for a lot of the amplifiers. There's not many where I can buy a chassis off the shelf that I can start using straight away. There's always some modifications that need doing, and this is kind of the side of amp building, especially on the scale that I do it, you know, very small scale, 1 at a time, or 1 or 2 at a time, getting things done. But people don't see, they don't really understand, so it does take a while. It's just one of those things. Thankfully this firm is a 5-minute drive in the van, so not far at all. And then we end up, I mean, there's a reason I don't get them done, or there's a reason I do it this way. It is that it gives me flexibility. If I buy the blank chassis, I can constantly tweak them and try and improve them, rather than making a design error and ordering 200 and ending up with, you know, living with that mistake until we've used them all up, which is just I can't think of anything worse really. So yeah, I like to do it this way, because that's what you're doing, aren't you? You're constantly trying to improve your product, you know, move things around in your design and tweak things and change things and get things where you want them, because often you will, you know, you think that's the best place or the best way to do something, and then down the line you realise it's not, and you find a better way, or a way that allows the thing to be more versatile, or just make improvements. So I like, even though this is a little bit more time intensive, it takes up more of my time to do it this way, it is better in the long run. So that's why we do it. And actually it goes the same way. It's why I make my own pilot boards in house, is that I can tweak and change things as I go, keep trying to make the absolute best product that I can. PR6 progress. As you know, the chassis build is done. The cabinet arrived. He's gone for grey tweed with the Oxplug gold stripe grill cloth. Looks great. So I'm just marking up the top. Got my handle and chassis marks done, so that's all ready for drilling. And we've got that big chunky leather handle to go on. So having a Celestian A-type in this one, it's a difficult toss-up really, because we, as you know, we normally fit WGS speakers. But the customer's concern was that the amplifier would be too loud, and if you fit in an efficient speaker, excuse me, even a 6-watt amp like this could be too loud. So the G12C, what we normally fit, is probably too pokey for his application. The one down from that, the G12Q, is a less efficient speaker, so it is perceivably quieter, but because it's the smaller magnet, it doesn't quite have that that presence to it, I think is a good way to explain it. Now, Celestian do an American voice speaker. It is a 50-watter. It's called the A-type. It has a decent sized speaker, but it is less efficient, so it is quieter than G12C. So I think that's a really good compromise, and it sounds fantastic. So that's what we're going to fit to this. So I've just got to finish drilling the holes for the chassis. You know how I do it. I do mark my datums on. I've got my template chassis, center point, get all those done. Fit speaker, reverb tank, dress the cabinet, and then we can get the whole thing finished, and he's really keen to come collect it. So another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was custom amplifiers. If you have an idea for a really cool custom amplifier, rather than just a replica of something that's been done before, you know, if you've got a genuinely cool original idea, I'd love to hear it, because if it's really, you know, genuinely original and it's got some great ideas and features and trying to do something a bit different, I'd love to build it for you. So if you've got any ideas, please email. You can email sales@riffdamps.com. Send me your ideas. If you're genuinely interested and you've got an idea for a cool amp, and I think it's going to be possible to make it, then please get in touch. I'm sure we can certainly do something. I'm currently working with a chap at the moment on a low wattage custom design for him. For his use, it's going to be absolutely brilliant. It's going to be fantastic. So I'm really hoping that when it's finally built and completed, it's gonna blow him away. Because I mean, his initial concept was fantastic, and then the amp that I designed on paper took that to the next level. And so we're just going to get that thing built and see how it sounds, see if it does for him as a minimum what he dreamt of, and then hopefully it goes even further than that. So yeah, if you've got a good idea for custom amp, guys, please get in touch, let me know. I'm here at the Welders. Let's drop these chassis off. I've just had a chap drop this in for service. Those who used to read my column on guitar.com will know that I previously worked on one of these for Bernie to get it up and running again. And this is a Marshall Capri. Very simple amplifier, volume and tone, 2 inputs, on and off. Now, the Capri was always red, but it came in different formats. Some had 2x8 speakers, some had a 1x10, some had the elliptical speaker, which we believe this is. So what's it coming for? Just a service and a check over. He said it doesn't sound great. He doesn't play it. He doesn't drive it very hard because he doesn't want to damage it, which is fair enough. So let's get the back off, let's get the chassis out, let's have a look and take it from there. Elliptical speaker, look at that. I seem to remember that they're only rated for 10 watts. Might be wrong, we need to look at my notes. But let's have a look inside. Basically, it's a Champ or Vox AC4 circuit, very simple. Single 12AX7. So you've got two sides of that. Tone stack in between, I believe, or the tone control. And then a single EL84 output stage. Right. The filter caps don't look too bad from this angle, but we'll see. Let's get the chassis out. So with the chassis removed from the cabinet, you do have to snip the speaker wires, but don't worry, they're easy to solder back on. Just a tip, when you do that, leave a tiny bit of each colour so you know which way they go. And this one, the chassis is stamped 4277C, which matches the sticker on the back panel, which is nice. So what can we see? It looks pretty good actually, not bad, not bad at all. We've got a, we'll behave, come on. A Marshall branded ECC 83. I don't think I've seen one of those before. And we've also got an unbranded or unknown EL84. Okay, so this hasn't had any service work on it, I can tell you that. All looks pretty standard. I do have the schematic that I drew for Bernie's one that we can use to compare the two amplifiers. And what I can tell you from what I can see is that it's pretty much identical, which is excellent news. Right, so what's the plan of attack? Well, I guess we need to fire it up on the bench, take some measurements, give it a listen and see where we are. But I suspect this is going to need nothing more than the two multi-section electrolytic caps replacing, the bypass cap on the cathode, and then check for leakage on the mustards. Clean the pots, clean the jacks, and take it from there. But there's not really much to go wrong with these. So yeah, if we flip it up, we should find the manufacturing label. Yes, we do. Assembly of the Capri 7 watt by Teresa on the 24th of September 1971. That's when it was tested. How easy is that to date this amplifier? 1971, which is the same as Bernie's. So there you go. Right. Yeah, it's Friday afternoon, so I'm not going to do anything on this today. But next week, we'll make some progress. Well, that's it then, guys. Thank you very much for watching once again. I know I said I'd be doing more videos, but I've just been crazy busy for the last week. Just haven't got around to filming a lot of stuff, but hopefully there's enough here this week to keep you entertained. So please give this video a thumbs up, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Next week we'll be on the Marshall Capri, finishing off this Ainsley build, and then we've got some more to do. The chassis should be back next week, hopefully, and then we can crack on with some more stuff. But yeah, and the PR6 will all be buttoned up then as well. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you at the next one. Right, this will make you laugh. So, I don't know if you know about a project here in the UK called HS2, which is High Speed Railway number 2, which is very controversial, and is proven to be very, very, very expensive. So, Steve, the welder, is currently making modifying some concrete moulds that are made out of looks like steel, that were made in France, and they're used as moulds to create the shape of the tunnels for the trains to go through. And they're all made in France, and they all need to be 6.2 meters wide, and there are apparently 400,000 of these moulds that were made in France on order, specifically for this HS2 project. And they're all meant to be 6.2 meters wide, and then they'd all stack together, and line up with all the mounting holes, and then they can pour the concrete in, and that creates the shape of the tunnel. The company in France that made them, and has already been paid for them, made them 6.3 meters wide. So that's only 100mm difference, but it means all of the holes don't line up. So he's in batches. He's not doing all 400,000, of course. They've all been sent to loads of local firms to get fixed, but they're having to shorten each unit by 100mm, so take 50mm off each side to get these things to fit so they can use them. Otherwise it's a complete waste. Now if there's 400,000 of these molds, and they're currently 6.3 meters wide by probably 1.5 meters tall, and they've got this certain curve to them for the roof of the tunnel. I dread to think what they cost. You're talking millions of, for those to be made in the first place, millions and millions, and now I have to spend the same money, even more money, to get these things fixed because they weren't built properly in the first place. So he's having an absolute nightmare. So he said to me, "I'm really sorry. You're going to have to wait an extra couple of days for your chassis to be strengthened. It's not a problem. You get on with your job. You do it properly. That's what I care about. Quality over speed." And yeah, we'll just have to wait, because once again, not only is HS2 taking all of the timber in the country, they get priority on all of the good timber, so it's affecting. They're even taking musical grade timber for their stuff, so it's why cabinets have been slow as well, because of HS2. It's now it's now affecting my small batch of chassis welding. So there you go. Yeah, why they didn't design them correctly in the first place, or even just build them correctly in the first place. There you go. Anyway, back to the shop. I've got to finish off. I'll finish tweaking that hawker. I wanted to make a few final more tweaks before we ship it off, and then back on the Ainsleys.